Welcome back to the One Step Journey podcast, episode 23.
23.
We are back. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in and taking another step with us here today. We are so grateful for you guys for tuning back in. We don't take it for granted. We say it on every single episode, but we truly mean it, and we're really appreciative of our listeners, our viewers, and thank you guys for tuning in every week. Thank you so much.
We don't take that lightly.
No, we don't.
We don't take it for granted. All the support, the momentum that we've been getting, all that kind of stuff is what fuels us.
Yeah.
I love it. I know that we stopped doing the whole athlete thing, but I think with the number 23, we got to just shout out MJ real quick.
MJ, thank you.
Shout out to MJ.
No, shout out to MJ, man.
That's it.
You're right. The last chapter, we did do a lot of shout outs for professional athletes, whatever number episode we were on. I do miss those days, however.
Yeah.
It's only appropriate that we give
to, though,
the
just
GOAT
one time
the
for
shout
the GOAT,
out.
23.
Yeah, for the GOAT. Shout out Mike. But we are back here today, and we have a very, very exciting topic today.
Very exciting.
And I think it's really relevant to today society. There's a lot of changes that are taking place around this topic, which I'm really excited to talk about. A lot of people are steering away from this topic too, from a health conscious standpoint, which is really exciting, unique. People are really taking ownership for where they want to go in life. It's kind of cool.
100%.
It's kind of cool to think about and see.
It's funny that this is our topic, and I literally just had a conversation about this exact thing last night with one of my coworkers.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's at the forefront of everybody's mind.
It is, man. It is. And we could probably share a little bit. We're kind of being very discreet right now with what we're discussing
with what
here.
we're talking about.
But
100%.
We're talking about alcohol and substances.
Yep.
It's a big topic. It's a big topic today.
It's a huge topic that a lot of people are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I feel there's a huge shift coming in society.
Yeah.
It's already been happening, but I feel there's really a big push for kind of stepping away from the drinking and the smoking and all that kind of stuff.
The whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you start to see. I don't know. Have you seen? At least on my feed, there's all these alternative drinks that are like infused with like mushrooms and some like CBD, THC, which is supposed to help feel the same effects as like alcohol, but it's supposed to not have the hangover effect. You're supposed to be more like in the zone, in the moment type of vibe, as opposed to like being in the moment with quotes here, right? You're not actually there. The alcohol is altering your thought process, who you actually are, your persona, and it's not healthy because you feel like shit the next day.
You feel like shit the next day.
It's terrible,
you're
man.
foggy, groggy, slow, lethargic.
Everything, man.
Like, tell me pros that come with getting fucked up out at the bar. I'll wait. I'll be waiting here for a while. You know what I mean? Kind of like that third thing. But there really is like the mocktails and the alternative drinks, things like that are becoming a lot more prevalent in today's society because people don't want to get as fucked up or as messed up as they once did because they've realized the repercussions and the detriment that it does on your productivity and your success. Right?
Yeah, for sure. But and then again, on the flip side too, if you think about it from this perspective, if we backtrack here, let's say 8 years, maybe we'll go 10 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Backtrack a decade.
Backtrack a decade. Right? We're in college, getting ready for college. That's all we're excited to do, though, if you think about it.
All we're excited to do.
You know what I mean? So, like, in that moment of college, we're excited. We want to get drunk. We want to go meet people, mingle, do stupid shit, essentially, because that's that's the backlash that comes with drinking.
100%.
Right? Fast forward now, it's like, I don't miss that.
I don't miss it at all.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it goes in chapters and waves within life of, hey, when we're in college, like you enjoy the experience, you enjoy the moment, you go out with your friends. It's like a social acceptance. People are always doing this. Yeah. You know what I mean? But nowadays, it's, at least in my position, I'm sure, obviously I know your position too. Is it really fun wasting a day or a Sunday?
Is it worth it? Right?
Is it? I don't know.
A really key point that you just brought up is a decade ago, right? You were in college, getting ready to go back to football and doing all that kind of stuff. I'm graduating from Wheaton North. Shout out to the Falcons. Yeah. All we were excited to do was party, get messed up, and have fun. Yeah. When we're sitting here and the rest of this entire episode, when we're talking about the drinking and the smoking, it's not coming from a point of view of judgment, right?
Correct. Yep.
It's just coming from a different point of view where priorities have shifted in both of our lives. I'm not saying that drinking and smoking, looking down upon people or not to do that, because I think everybody has to go through chapters where you are in high school and you're drinking with the boys, right?
Yeah.
Not 21 and then going to college and having that fun. It's a part of the journey. What we're talking about is when you reach that certain threshold in your life where the priorities shift and now you're chasing different goals. You're chasing the ambitious, starting up a business. You're starting the different endeavors, just reaching whatever pinnacle of success it is that you're reaching for. That's what we're talking about, where now the priorities have shifted and maybe now the drinking and the smoking is now lower tier on the priorities.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If that makes sense.
100%. That's spot on, right? And sometimes too, as we learn how life goes, we have some really unfortunate experiences with drinking that allow us to shift that perspective and to maybe appreciate having those days be in the past for a reason type of deal.
100%.
Right? So, it kind of leads into, something I wanted to share here. And I don't know if I've ever shared this publicly or out loud.
I think this might be my first time hearing the story.
This it might be.
In depth.
In depth, depth. So we're gonna backtrack here. It was 2019, and I was dating someone else at the time. It was spring break, and we had gone down to Nashville, one of Jeffrey's favorite places in America. He loves Nashville. He's a big Nashville guy, and we were down there. And when I was down there, we got down there on a Thursday, and we decided to go to the Strip. And we go out. We've been drinking really heavily all night. Ran into actually Bruni. Bruni was out there, and Toth was actually out there too. Come to think about it, and we ran into them. We had a couple drinks with them.
That's fucking hilarious.
So it was an awesome night. It's about 11:30 midnight, and I tell my ex, I'm like, "Hey, we gotta go. We gotta go. I'm pretty sauced up. I've been drinking Crown Apples with Sprite all night, going down like juice.
Yeah,
down like juice,
going down like water,
bro. It was so bad. It was so good, but so bad.
I know.
On Broadway, it's hard to get an Uber, as you know. So we got to walk over a couple blocks. My ex is walking in front of me, trying to get to the spot. As she's walking, there's these guys who are at a stoplight, and they start catcalling her.
Like in their car?
In their car at the red light, and as she's walking on the sidewalk, they start. I forgot what they said. They were saying like, "Hey, baby girl, like, what you doing?" Like something like that.
Just something dumb.
Something really stupid.
Something dumb.
And of course, I hear that, and I'm really drunk, and if it's someone that's near and dear to me, I'm gonna get upset, no matter who it is, right? And of course, I said something back to them, and we're going back and forth in a little bit of an argument. Like, it's so stupid. Looking back at it. They said something that I could not tell you what they said. I cannot remember. I was on the verge of browning out, but it pissed me off so much. I looked around on the ground. I found a rock the size of my hand, like a garden rock.
Don't tell me that you're about to do it.
I literally picked it up. I'm not kidding. I shot put it at their car. Bro, I'm not kidding you. It felt so good. I knew I was going to smack it in the windshield. I literally shot put it and just walked away. And smack, right in the middle of their windshield just cracked. And I walk away. My unfortunate luck, there's a motorcycle cop 2 blocks over that heard it.
Oh my goodness.
So he comes, obviously
he
hears
comes
it.
hauling down
around the corner. They identify me. I'm walking 2 blocks up. We're about to get into an Uber. My ex has no idea what's going on, mind you. No idea how she doesn't know. All of a sudden, cop comes up, puts me in handcuffs. My ex is like looking at me like, what is going on? Like, she's just bawling hysterically.
What just happened?
And I get cuffed. I get put back into the cop car. And down in Nashville, it's like Vegas where you don't get processed. So they take your information. You have to come back for a court date months later, which is really unfortunate. So I didn't go to jail essentially, but I was arrested in the back of the cop car, processed the whole 9. I got a ticket for vandalism is what the charge was.
Oh my goodness.
So I had to come back 3 months later. We come down it gets better. Come back 3 months later. The day that I'm supposed to go in court, my lawyer's sick.
No.
My lawyer's sick. So he has to he had to call one of his buddies who's down at the courthouse who stepped in for me. There's a new judge that's on the case that day too. So I'm like, what is going on
What is going on here?
What is going on? And mind you, I had to get fingerprinted, pictures, the whole 9, that whole day as well. And they finally call me up and they're going through the whole thing, like, okay, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. The DA was not having it. Like, the judge was about to let it go, and the DA wanted to like prosecute me and have charges against me.
Oh my goodness.
And the judge was like, no, this is his first time, first offense. Like, there's no previous records, no nothing. It was a rental car too. So the people didn't even show up to the courthouse. So there's nothing that they could have even done. So by the grace of God, I got lucky that it was a rental car.
Wow.
So luckily it got dismissed and everything was good. I got it expunged off my record, paid the price, and obviously in terms of lawyer fees and everything. But that ever since that experience, that has changed my whole outlook on drinking. How much do I drink? Controlling myself, knowing my limits, and controlling my anger too, ultimately, because I was in a bad place at that time. Really bad place.
I bet.
It sucked. It was fucking rough.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was my fun time in Nashville in 2019.
And that's where we're going back for the bachelor party, man. No shot putting rocks.
Round 2, baby. No,
Round 2. Round 2.
Just kidding.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The funny part is being down in Nashville and loving it. I can envision that happening.
Isn't it crazy
the
to
fact
think
that
about?
you're on like the street corner though and found a big rock? That's wild. That's wild.
I don't know how that happened. It was just there, and it wanted to be thrown.
It just wanted to be shot put.
And I just shot
right onto the windshield. I bet those dudes were like, "What the heck is going on?"
Dude,
this dude's crazy.
Imagine being in the car and that happens.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Windshield gets shattered.
I don't know what I would do.
I don't know what I'd do either.
I don't know.
In a rental car too?
Right. Just one guy, and there's
sheer panic.
Yeah, right. I'm by myself, and there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
Clearly outnumbered, and I thought
outnumbered.
But I guess I obviously intimidated them enough that they didn't want anything to do.
They didn't want. Well, you threw the rock in the windshield, which is nuts.
I'm definitely not proud of that moment, but I share that because alcohol has had a negative impact on me personally, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that moment like changed the whole outlook on my life. I was embarrassed. I was disgusted with myself. I was everything you could imagine. I probably felt.
Oh yeah.
Right. And just the embarrassment with my significant other at the time, other people. It was just a really, really dark moment in my life. And looking back, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, like how it turned out, I'm glad it happened. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to jail. The record, it's expunged. It's not on my record.
Which is good.
It's amazing.
That's amazing.
But there's a lot of life lessons that obviously I learned through that moment.
Tons of life
in
lessons.
Time, right? So, having that happen has allowed me to grow up a little bit here.
Of course.
And I am appreciative of that moment. I really am. Even though it sounds ridiculous that I'm saying this, but I am appreciative of that moment. Because if I didn't learn, I would be doing the same stupid shit.
You could be doing the same hooligan stuff now.
Right.
Which would have a bigger effect on your life
Totally.
if something were to happen.
Totally.
Or you get in trouble.
Right. You know what I mean? So appreciative of that moment. Glad that it's in the past for a reason. But, But now we can joke about it on the
now we can joke
journey.
about it and we can laugh. That was a decade ago.
Yeah. Seriously.
Was it a decade ago? What year was it? 2015?
2019.
2019?
So it was about 5 years ago.
Okay.
6 years ago. Yeah, about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Nashville,
baby. We're going back soon enough, man.
We're going back.
But no, I'm glad we're talking about this topic though, because sure, we can shoot the shit and we can talk about stories, and I know there's stories too that we'll get to, but
yeah.
Do you feel like, because you've been sober almost gonna be 5 years coming this January.
5 years in January, which is crazy, bro.
Right? I mean, and if this coincides with maybe some stories you want to share, but
5 years, man.
Nuts, dude.
That's crazy.
At what moment did you make that conscious decision effort that, hey, this is time for me to be sober? Was it something that had happened, or just something just kind of clicked that was like, hey, I need to maybe reconsider some of my choices I'm making here in life?
Yeah, so I think it really hit me January 28th of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in Chicago, so I'll set a little bit of the backstory. So I had moved down to Arkansas October of 2019, right? I moved down to Arkansas October of 2019, and I moved down there with a couple $100 in my bank account, all my belongings. I packed up my Honda Civic Sport. I drove down and moved to Arkansas, right? Shout out to Chris.
Yep.
He kind of let me and the other person down there that I was living with at the time, it was Northwest Arkansas. That's where Tyson, JB Hunt,
Walmart
was headquartered down Bentonville, Rogers, right in that area in Arkansas. And he was like, this is a perfect place for people to come down who are hungry, ambitious, want to get your foot in the door right on the corporate side of the world and start building some experience and really building a name for yourself down in, at that time, a super cheap but beautiful area to live. So I moved down there. I had studied finance and marketing in school, got a job at the bank. I took, any job that I could. I interviewed at 30 places and got rejected at all of them. Finally, one of them, gave me a call saying, we want to offer you the job. And I was a bank teller, right? Which would potentially lead into mortgage lending opportunities and things of that nature down the road. But I took the job there, $10 or $11 an hour. Something simple, living paycheck to paycheck, but I just got to pay all my expenses, right? The car, the insurance, all that kind of stuff, right? And, rent and all that. And so I had done that for about 6 months. Okay. And Chris, I don't really want to dive too deep into this, right? But he was building up his own business. And there was an offsite meeting in January. So I was trying to work to get involved with that business and do what I could do. The person who I had been living with at the time was involved as well. So everybody came to Chicago. And I knew that the bank wasn't going to be what I wanted to do long term. And I was really just trying to rediscover who I was as a person. And we went out late night in Chicago. I don't even remember all the places we hit, but I got probably almost the drunkest I've ever been in my entire life. And I woke up the next day and it just kind of hit me. As cheesy as it is, right? Everybody has that moment where you get super fucked up. You wake up the next morning, you're really hungover, you're nauseous, you're cloudy, you're foggy, and you tell yourself, yeah, I'm not drinking anymore. And I don't know what it was about that day, but it just kind of stuck. After that day, I was like, whatever it is, the path that I'm on right now, the late nights, the drinking, the smoking, all that kind of stuff is not going to lead me to where it is that I want to go. And I just never look back. Right. And I was like, I'm going to maybe stop drinking, for a couple weeks, and a couple weeks turned to a month, and a month turned to a couple months, and it was 6 months, and it turned into a year. And at that point I was like, I don't see ever having to do this again, nor do I want to. Right. And I don't know, man.
One of those moments.
Now it's almost been 5 years.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy. But props to you though, because I've been in that boat where I was like, I gotten so drunk, I'm not
Everybody's
drinking.
been in that boat, right?
Next weekend, you're tossing back a six.
Maybe just a couple.
Right? That's usually how it goes. So mad props to you for sticking to your guns, man of your word, like you always say. And you are, because you wanted to go to a different place that alcohol wasn't going to lead you to. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was going to hold you back. Yeah. Tremendously.
100%. And another crazy story right around that time is, I never really ended up working with that said company that I went to the offsite, and I had left the bank. You never want to leave a job before you have your second one secured, but I was so sure because I had an offer for a sales job, right? And at the time, like I told you, I was working at the bank. This is kind of a side tangent, but it's a crazy story, which kind of reflects back onto the common theme of just kind of live and let God. So I had left the bank where I was making literally like $10, $50, $11 an hour, right, living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm interviewing with all these other places off of LinkedIn, and as I'm building my network and looking for other opportunities to kind of take my life to the next level. And I got a sales job for Oyo Hotels. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I had never heard of the company before. It was a sales job all over the Midwest for Oyo Hotels, and I'll never forget. It was a $90K salary with commissions on top of it. So you're telling me that I was going to go from making $11 an hour to a $90K salary, right? And I'm like 23, right?
Almost a lot of money.
Almost 24 at the time. Had just moved down, like I said, with $200 in my pocket. Oyo Hotels, I get the offer and everything, crush the interviews, get the offer. I'm supposed to start on a Monday, right? I get an email and a call on Sunday night. Hey, I'm so sorry. We're going to have to rescind the offer from you, right? We're dissolving this position. We're going to go another direction. I forget exactly what it is that they said. Heartbroken. I'd already left the bank. Now they rescind the offer. I'm done, right? Where is this? This is rock bottom, okay? I had also been interviewing at Apex Systems and a couple other IT, scientific, or information technology staffing and recruiting opportunities, right? I get a call a week later that they want to move me to the final round. I crush it. I end up getting the job, right? This is end of January of 2020, right?
Wow, right.
So think about it. The sales job, boom, pull the offer, I'm done, right? 2 weeks later, I had the offer and I started with Apex Systems. Fast forward, what happens a month later, bro? COVID.
Boom. World
Boom.
shuts down.
Think about that. The world shuts down, right? If I would have been with Oyo Hotels, they would have definitely for sure canned me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I would have
Sadly.
lost my job. I would have had nothing. But what ended up happening is I went into IT, staffing and recruiting. It was an in-office job, in person, but it was obviously something that we could do. I went remote, and then I was remote for the next 4.5 years, right? All the way through COVID, I was able to have a job and be able to be successful and kind of catapult my life to the next level. Where if I would have went with Oyo,
Wow.
who knows what would have happened.
Wow.
Living like God, brother.
Blessing in disguise.
Blessing in disguise.
Swear to God, dude.
All that to say that I know it's kind of a random tangent and had nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it goes back to that. You just have to always believe in yourself. I know that was super random.
Yeah, wow.
But
wow.
it's crazy.
That is crazy, though. Wow. Damn, imagine what life would have been.
What life would have been.
Oil hotels.
Oyo. O-Y-O.
O-Y-O.
Yep.
Oyo
Oyo Hotels.
Wow. And
Yeah.
life would have been, wow.
Life would have been a lot different.
Because everything was crazy that time of the year,
The world
man.
shut down.
Yeah, it did.
Literally
Everything.
shut down.
Yeah, there's nothing you could have done.
I would've
People
been
got let
fucked.
off. Oh, yeah. Like, what are you going to do? You can't work remote.
Can't work remote. Because then I went into IT staffing. Was with Apex
Boom.
for about a year and a half. Then I went to PMI, and then I went to Asterix.
Right.
Leave
Boom.
all that in there. Fuck
Boom,
it,
boom,
right?
boom. Yeah.
But
That's crazy.
I feel like we're diving deep into stories.
Yeah.
Right? I do have another story.
Yeah, talk to us. So,
Right.
so transition to this story is
This
just
one's
to
going to
give-
be back on the topic.
So just some more like alcohol,
This
substance
is more
related.
alcohol and substance.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk to us here.
You took us back 2019, right? 5
Yeah.
years ago. I'm
Yep.
going to rewind the clock a full decade.
Ooh.
This is 2014.
Okay, baby.
Right. This is a different Jeffrey. We're going to tell a story about a Jeffrey that a lot of people that know me now don't know about this Jeffrey, right? So this is 2014. This is, and I don't think my dad's ever heard this story, so this is gonna be the first time that he's heard it. And
Okay.
this is when me and my dad had a little bit of a falling out, right? And this is when the things that I was doing in my life weren't necessarily where my dad wanted me to go, right? And looking back on it, we're always so stubborn, we're always so hard-headed.
Always.
The way that I'm doing it, Dad, is the right way. You just don't see that. And my dad's like, I don't know who the hell you think you are, right? But at this point in time, the direction that you're going, you're not welcome in this house anymore. And he locked the door.
Wow.
Right? And so there was a stretch for months where I wasn't welcome back in the house, right? I'm couch hopping, I'm staying at Jordan Penny's, I'm at the Trap, I'm sleeping at the park, things of that nature, right? I'm 18 years old. So what do I start doing? I start selling weed. Start doing all that kind of stuff, right? Because it's my way, right? My way is great.
My way or the
I'm out
highway,
here
right?
And I'm drinking and I'm partying and I'm popping pills and I'm doing all that kind of stuff. Life is good, right? I'm making money, all that kind of stuff. There was a night, and I'm going to leave some names out.
For
right?
sure.
There was a night though, okay, where I'm out in Carroll Stream. We're out over by the Cover Bridges Apartments, right? Over there on Schmally.
Yep.
And somebody came through. I was the plug. Somebody had come through to pick up some weed from me, right? And they didn't have any cash. And so I was like, well, fuck you, dude. Like, you want to get this weed, and this is all over $20, right? You want to get this weed, like, you got to go get some cash. He said, okay, jump in the car. We're going to go down to the Chase Bank on Schmally, and I'm going to get you your cash, right? And literally probably 20 minutes before all this had happened, I popped 2 school buses of Xanax, bro. So like I'm fucked up. I'll even show you photos on my phone, dude. We've been smoking and drinking all day. Like I'm out of this world, dude. I got Sharpie drawings all over my body. Like it looked like a degenerate, right? And I'm out here shirtless in the car. We go to Chase Bank, and this is like 1:00 in the morning. All over $20. Remember this. We're going through, the drive-through ATM, and they're pulling out some money. A cop comes up behind us. Right. I mean, it's 1:30. Like, why are we at the drive-through ATM? We're driving in a Jeep that's got all the doors off. Right. Somebody had picked us up in a Jeep, and I got drawings all over my body, all this kind of stuff. And the cop walks up to the window. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? And we're like, oh, we're just getting some money. We're going to go get some food. And he looks down and he's like, well, what is that? And in my lap, I had a bunch of weed and things of that nature. So they start searching it. I got more in my pockets, all that kind of stuff. And so they ended up arresting us. And I remember, dude, like I said, I got all these Sharpie drawings all over me. Like literally my whole torso, my chest, my back, everything is covered in Sharpie drawings. I look like a bathroom stall in like a gas station. Seriously.
right.
Disgusting. And so we get arrested. This is in Carroll Stream. We go back to the police department. I'm in jail the whole night. And I hear one of the people that I got arrested with is in the cell next to me, and he's talking to the cop. And he's like, listen, son, like you got to turn your life around. Your buddy over there in that cell, you don't want to be like him. Don't go down that road. And like, I remember hearing that and I was like, damn, I'm sitting there in that jail cell and I'm like, what I'm doing ain't it. What the path that I'm on, the direction that I'm going ain't it. Something's got to change. Right. And shout out to Mr. Kane, right? Being able to get your boy out of a little bit of a jam. Nothing went onto my record, but I feel that was a very pivotal moment in my life. Unfortunately, that wasn't the one that got me over the hump, but it steered me back onto a better path. Of course, obviously nobody's perfect, right? I still kind of veered off that path, but I mean, that was probably the rock bottom for me, where it was like, whatever you're doing ain't it. You got to turn things around. And I started, getting back into the gym, started getting a little bit of a clearer mind and on a little bit of a better direction than I was. But that was probably the pivotal moment in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. Chase Bank, dude.
Chase Bank.
Shout out to Chase Bank.
Wow. First of all, shout out to
That's
Mr.
crazy.
Kane because he helped me out.
Shout
too.
out to Mr. Kane.
Yeah,
bro.
he's the one to help me out too.
Mr.
Get
Kane's
connected.
the
Yeah,
goat.
he's the man. He's the man. Wow. So
Yeah.
kind of going into that. Wow. So you're in the jail cell. I have a lot of things going through my mind. You're in the jail cell. You realize that, hey, this isn't the path that I want to go down. What did you ever think the people you were surrounded with, you needed to remove yourself from those people, or is there something else that would kind of clicked?
I think
Aside from the moment,
Yeah.
obviously, right?
I feel I was too young at the time to really realize the power of the circle that you surround yourself with. And so to answer that question, I don't think I thought to myself, I need to remove myself from this inner circle.
Yeah.
But I'm telling myself in that jail cell, well, I'm still fucked up. Whatever I'm doing ain't it. Something's got to change.
You don't know what, but something.
I
has
don't
to
know
change.
what it is, but something has to change. Right? Because clearly whatever I'm doing, it ain't it.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. And that's sometimes all you need is just that one, like, I need some, I don't know what it is, but I'm motivated to find out what the fuck is this going to be.
Yeah.
And you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And you did.
That was my third time being arrested, by the way, too. 3 strikes and you're out, man.
Right? Literally 3 strikes, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
How far in like a time span?
They were probably all within like 2 years, man.
2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a bad kid for a while.
Bad kid.
Yeah.
Bad Jeffrey.
It's crazy to think about and reflect back on some of the things that I've done.
Yeah.
Because I'm completely different now.
100%, dude. No,
Like,
you really are.
literally, if you didn't know me and I told you a lot of the stuff that I've done in my life, you would be like, "What the fuck?" There's no way.
Yeah. No, there's no way.
There's no way.
And I don't know if I had heard those stories. I mean, we've talked.
Yeah,
right?
of course, man.
But like when you're like reflecting back on that right now in this moment, what's something that pops into your mind as you're reflecting on the last 10 years of your life and maybe some of those dark times? I know it's a very open-ended question.
Yeah.
But what's something that pops up in your mind right now?
That boy was so lost, man.
Lost.
That boy was so lost. Had no idea. That little boy carried around so much pain, so much anger, so much just like angst.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Find a better outlet.
It's hard to accept that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people could
find a better outlet, and obviously I found one.
100%, man. But we also don't know who's going through something like that right now. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But lost. I mean, do you think? I mean, obviously, I think I know the answer to this, but do you think you needed to go through that?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Going through the hard things in life, kind of like Andrew Tate always talks about.
Yeah.
Right? Going through the hard things in life is necessary for a man because it's going to be able to mold you and shape you and force you to grow.
Yeah.
It's going to put you in uncomfortable situations where you're either going to have to adapt or die. And in those moments, that's how the man inside of you is really created, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. We are programmed to live in a very comfortable state of mind, right? And we're not programmed to go through hardships in life, to go through challenges, to go through shit that sucks.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these, I guess, successful people, they always talk about that. You got to embrace the struggle, The more you embrace the struggle, the easier life will be.
Yeah.
But it's so true because you go through a hard life now, easy life later.
Oh, yeah.
Go through easy life now, hard life later.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the dieting, right? If you eat like shit now, You'll pay for it in the back
You're
end
gonna
of
pay
life.
for it later.
It's maybe comfortable and it's comfort food, but you'll pay for it down the road.
Yeah.
If you're disciplined now, you'll be able to reap the rewards later. You'll be able to go for walks. You'll be able to do things with your kids if you're fortunate enough to have a family. You'll be able to do all those things. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. We need to go through hardship.
We need to go through it.
And hard shit.
Yeah, no,
you know
we
what I
really
mean?
do. I'm just sitting here and I'm just like being flooded with like all these emotions and,
Oh,
and
no,
these
yeah, talk
memories
to
and
us.
stuff. You know, another thing that I would say to my younger self that's going through that in 2014 is stop running. Stop running, because
Okay.
I was leaning on the pills, the weed,
Yeah.
and the drinks to numb everything that I'm going through. Stop running from it.
Yeah.
You know, lean on the people that care about you, lean on your family, and just go through it.
Yeah.
Embrace the suck, embrace the grind, because there was a couple years in my life, man, where it's crazy to think about now that we've talked about it. January 28th of 25 will be 5 years of sobriety. And there used to be, you know, about a year and a half to 2 years of my life where I was sober for probably less than an hour every day. Every day I'd wake up, roll up a blunt, start drinking, right? It was Four Locos. We were drinking Smirnoff Ices. We're drinking Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, right? As much as I joke about, you know, I'm Tennessee Honey because I'm sweet.
Yeah.
That was the bottle of choice, right? We're
Right.
we're popping Xanax. We're popping Klonopin. We're snorting Trazodone. We're smoking promethazine blunts. Like, we were doing that every day
Yeah.
for like a year and a half to 2 years.
Right. Right. And it's at some point your body's not going to respond obviously well to that. You're going to be.
You're not going to.
You're not here in reality.
You're not.
You're in a different world.
You know?
Right. And it's just I mean, obviously, like, I don't wish it upon anyone, but like I'm really proud of you for still recognizing, hey, you know what? That one guy in the jail cell said, hey, you know what?
Don't be like your friend over there.
You gotta make some different choices.
Don't go down that path.
Right. Props to you though, because a lot of people, man, I know there's a lot of people that have heard that before.
Yeah.
And they've continued on that path. Seriously, I don't know if there's a statistic out there, but if you really think about that, there are people that continue down that path and they end up dying years later.
Yeah.
Sadly, bro.
100%.
So I'm really proud of you, man, and I love you for that, bro.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
really proud of you, man, because that's not an easy thing to get out of, that cycle of relying on some sort of substance every single day.
Every day.
Because then at one point it's a habit you don't even realize what you're doing.
Yeah.
Until
something like that happens.
until Chase Bank.
Until Chase Bank.
Seriously, we joke about it, but seriously
Yeah.
though, right?
No, 100%.
It's crazy, man. But you know, it's and it's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of things that are happening, but you know, you don't know who needs to hear a story like that, who's going through something.
Somebody could be going through it right now in this very moment, and they need to hear these words to help pull them out of whatever dark hole they're going down.
Right. So I have another question here for you. We're talking about things that have happened in the past, things that you were addicted to, etc. Does it bother you that we talk about it, or do you feel like you're so far removed?
I'm so past it.
You're so past it.
It's funny, you know, being able to recollect it and relive some of these memories, because when I tell you I'm literally a completely different person than I was 10 years ago, it's true.
It's so different.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I'm so clear. I'm so focused. I'm so driven. And it's not to say that I wasn't driven back then, but I think I was driven by the wrong things.
That's key right there. That's key. So you've always had that drive in you. You were just on the wrong road.
Yeah.
Going down a different.
Just going down a different path. You know?
I do know.
I was just driven and I was motivated by all the wrong things, and I was just getting sucked into a life that I thought was so much fun and so cool because I'm making all this money. I got cash. People are hitting me up. They're coming to me, right? I felt like the guy, but I was just a loser, you know? And being so driven by the external validation and being so driven by the high, being so driven by the next hit, versus now what we talked about earlier, the priorities and the mentality has just shifted. Now I'm just driven by opportunity and success and inspiration and motivation and just trying to get better in any capacity than I was yesterday.
Amen.
You know?
Right. So and again, power to you for using that as fuel.
Yeah.
As opposed to the alternative.
And just like letting it control me.
Yeah. No,
You know?
totally, man. Well, and I feel that too because I mean, I told you I'm doing 75 hard. It's
Let's go.
a 30-day type. It's phase 2, so 30 days, more tasks. But one of the big things is no drinking.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big drinker anyways, but within my bloodlines, I've had a couple family members who are alcoholics, and that is in my blood. And I know my mom always tells me and told me as a kid growing up, just make sure you're careful. Be careful with alcohol because it's in our family and it's easy to consume. And once you wake up that monster, it's hard to put them to sleep.
Yeah.
So luckily, I'm very blessed that I think Nashville got me to that point of like, oh shit, like I kind of saw the monster a little bit, but I didn't fully wake him up. He was slowly starting to wake up, but he wasn't fully there. So I'm really glad that, I haven't allowed that to impact my life. But getting back on track where I was going, this is day 8 now of the third, like essentially the 30-day challenge of 75 hard. And just the whole waking up on a Sunday not hungover. I felt great, dude. I felt clean.
You feel amazing.
Feel amazing, dude. Oh my gosh. The clarity was there. Listen to some old podcasts like I told you about yesterday. Just having like purpose and drive and vision and taking action with that. Because when you're hungover, dude, you want to sit on the couch.
You just want to lay on the couch and just eat fried food.
Have a pizza, watch football, do nothing. You don't want to do anything. Right? Maybe smoke a little weed and just kind of take off the hangover, the edge. That's what you want to do. It's comfortable. Mm-hmm. It was nice to have that habits back into my life right now. I feel so clear and so focused, just like what you had touched on, that mental clarity and focus, man. Yeah. It's awesome.
100%. It's, looking back on it, I feel me and you are very similar. We both have very addictive personalities. Completely. So when I get hooked on something, when I get hyper fixated on something, I go all in. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, in that chapter of my life, I got hooked.
You're all in.
And looking back on it and reflecting on it, sometimes you got to think about it. Maybe I'm not a bad driver. I'm just driving the wrong car. Right?
That's deep.
Maybe I'm just driving the wrong car and I'm on the wrong road, and I just got to get back on something different and just hit a different track and just go somewhere else. And something that's really shifted my perspective and just the way that I just view life is every day is a blessing. Mm-hmm. I don't really talk about this too much, but I actually overdosed twice. Mm-hmm. And any one of those obviously could have buried me 6 feet deep. And the way that I look at it is, I'm still here for a reason.
Right.
Job's not done.
No.
Job's not finished. Done. And I feel, sitting here on this podcast with you, part of the job that I have at hand is reaching out to people and connecting with people and just sharing my story, listening to people's stories, and just helping people strive to be better than they were yesterday.
Yes.
Because, yesterday doesn't define me, right?
Not at all.
What defines me is the actions I make here and now, the man I choose to be here and now, and the impact that I choose to leave on the people that I interact with. That's what defines me.
Yeah.
Yesterday's mistakes are not tomorrow's forecast.
No.
No,
I do know. And it takes a lot of willpower of our thoughts to let yesterday go.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the past. And, I just finished this book called Thoughtsmanship for Well-Being. You can see it on the ground right there. And it really talks about being in the moment and, really curating your thoughts and what you think about and what you focus on, you will attract in life. Right. And it talks about obviously the other perspectives of like what happens with negative thinking versus positive thinking. I think we all know that. However, even though we know that, doesn't mean we have a conscious thought about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the more that we talk about it, the more that we read and absorb that information, the more likelihood that we will be more positive within our purpose, within our drive, and we're able to forget about yesterday. It's in the past. You can't change it. Like last week, I'm not going to go too much into it, but I had a client that I had. It was a pretty big client. I learned a really valuable lesson within business, and he is no longer a client, and that's fine. I learned a lot, and it ate at me. I mean, you can ask Christina. It was really, really tricky for me because I care for people and I love for people. I just went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right? There's a little miscommunication. It happens.
It happens.
It's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but here's the thing though, if I was smoking and drinking all the time, I would be doing that a whole heck of a lot more.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, like that's why I don't. And I'm like, again, I'm not saying that if you smoke or drink, you're a terrible person. Right. That doesn't mean that at all. It's just you have to figure out what's that higher purpose you have in life. What's your calling? What are you called to do? And be that person.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the last episode or 2 episodes ago is think about who you can become in life. Think about what that person is. Think about the characteristics that they are. Think about what they do on a daily basis that allows them to be successful.
100%.
Right. So, I think for me, getting back on track with, drugs and alcohol, I'm very happy that I'm doing these challenges like this, because then it allows me to not be submersed into wanting to drink. It's hard though.
It is.
Like when I was out on Saturday at my brother's football game, people were tailgating. Everyone was drunk and wasted.
Yeah, everybody's wasted, drinking beers, and it's fun.
Colt, take a shot. Nah, I'm good, man. Appreciate you though. Thank you. It's hard, but I'm glad that I was able to see that other side. I think a little bit, because it allowed me. Like I'm okay. I don't need it.
100%. I feel. I don't know. I'm just thinking, something that's crazy is I don't miss it at all. Yeah. Right.
Well, we actually talked about that recently. I think I asked you just out of curiosity, and you're like, yeah, you don't miss it at all.
I don't miss it at all.
No.
Right.
No.
And, God has given me this personality and this energy to the point where I've realized that I don't need any sort of substances to have a good time. Right. And be silly and be funny and be myself and just kind of just be out there with the energy and a little buzzball. Right. Right. I don't need any substances to get there. Some people really lean on, they call it the liquid courage, right? They need a couple of drinks to be able to be the kind of person that they wish that they could be, maybe without it, which is unfortunate, but let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's bring awareness to it like we are today. And because it is a powerful thing, man, because, I used to use the liquid as courage.
Yeah.
Of course. Right. It's easier. It releases all the anxieties that you have, and you're just kind of in the moment.
Yeah.
But then you drink too much, and then you're like, oh shit, what did I say? Oh shit. Then
what
the anxiety
did I say?
creeps
What did
in.
I do?
And then you go down the spiraling of like, oh, I'm, maybe depressed. Like you go down a really bad path the next day when you do drink a lot, and I don't miss it.
You go down a very bad path, and I don't miss that at all.
No, it's a tricky one, man. It's
a slippery slope.
It really is. And I'm really glad that we're living in a day and age where people are making alternative drinks.
Yeah.
Because you can't escape alcohol.
I love a good mocktail.
100%, man.
A mocktail.
It's so good.
Hits.
It's amazing. And I'm really curious. I want to try one of these, like I told you about, those.
Like the THC ones?
The
CBD?
Yeah, the CBD, like mushroom infused type of drinks.
Yeah.
It's very low dosage, but I want to see if it like.
How you feel?
If you are like so like euphoric and whatnot. I want to see what that feels like. I'm just curious. I don't know. I wanted to just try it, see how it is.
I think the only thing I would do that would kind of quote unquote break my sobriety is like mushrooms or psilocybin.
That's fair.
I like that kind of stuff.
I do too.
I haven't done it in so long, probably since 2020. Yeah. 2019, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2019. So it's been five years.
Yeah.
Since I've done anything like that. But going into something like that is not necessarily for the feeling of getting high or getting drunk. It's a lot more of the internal reflection. I've learned so much about myself on, psilocybin and mushrooms than, the years of therapy and anger management.
Totally. Dude, it is. I've done it a handful of times within the last probably 3 years.
Yeah.
And you're right though. Like whatever problems you have in life, they're right here.
It comes right in your face and there's no getting around it.
No, but I'm grateful for that because that could scare some people.
You have to address it.
That's the thing. You have to be ready for it. And you have to be in a right environment if you are to.
With the right people at the right place.
For sure. And I'm not saying everyone should do that, right? Like I'm not promoting that, but it's something that has helped me, I'll be honest. Mm-hmm. Right. And I know there's a lot of studies too, right? Especially I think it's out in Oregon. I know that they're using MDMA to help veterans treat with PTSD.
Yes,
and
it's big.
It is really big. And I think it's a 12-week cycle. And I think they're doing the same thing with psilocybin too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of effects and a lot of studies more on that within mushroom psilocybin that helps with PTSD, helps really treat some of these anxiety or depression symptoms that a lot of these
veterans
or people are experiencing.
Yeah.
It's really tricky, man. So when using the right environment, it can definitely be a powerful tool for a lot of people. It really can be.
It is. That's maybe the only thing I would do again.
Yeah.
Something like mushrooms.
I would 100% for sure.
Just for the internal reflection.
It is, man. Like
and just realignment.
It has to be with the right intent and it has to be purpose driven for me. I'm not just going to just do it just to do it. Has to be purpose driven.
Like going out into like a forest preserve or like going to a national park and seeing like Zion or like the redwoods, dude, on like 1.5 grams, 2 grams of mushrooms would be unreal.
It would be.
And just learning just about yourself and just grounding and nature and
the whole nine, dude.
The vibrations and energy you give off.
Yeah, right, dude.
You can feel it.
You really can. Yeah. It's definitely an interesting feeling, and very interesting that we went down this path.
It is.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. It has to do with the substances and all that kind of stuff. Because would you know, if I were to go take 1 gram of mushrooms and go to the forest preserve and just reflect,
right?
Is that breaking my sobriety?
I would honestly, I would say no. But then again, I think that kind of flips back to what is your definition of sobriety?
Yeah.
Right. Like I would turn that back onto you because everyone's.
Yeah. I would say technically, probably it would break my sobriety.
Technically, probably, right? But again, with the right intent and purpose driven,
yeah,
maybe not, I don't know.
Going into it, right? Am I doing it for the wrong reasons? And doing something like that, the answer would probably be no.
Right.
If I were to start popping some Xanax or Klonopin, right, and
it's going
different. Down and smacking the bottle, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, which I would say that's definitely breaking your sobriety.
Yeah, that is breaking.
That's breaking the sobriety for sure.
100%.
But yeah, the psilocybin. I don't know. That's a great question. I guess we'll see where life takes us.
What's gotten really popular over the last couple of years is the ayahuasca retreats.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that.
I don't know if I could do that. It's too much, too intense.
I had an old coworker. That did it.
Oh, I bet.
And
she came back probably so focused and clear.
Dude, it was rough though. It was in California. It was a 3-day retreat. This was back in 2017, 2018 when I had worked with this individual. And they told me that it was the first like couple days you were just throwing up nonstop.
Yeah.
Nonstop. All the toxins, everything is just coming out. And
that terrifies me.
Dude, I don't know if I could do it. It is just, I don't think I could go down that path of, you go through it. It just not sound fun. But to your point, when they were done, so clear, level-headed, so focused, just the mental clarity of just life and everything that they wanted to accomplish was just right in front of them, which was awesome.
That's one of the things that I found so fascinating about Native American cultures is they're so built around, whether it's the peyote ceremony when the boy turns to a man, you go out into the wilderness and you take that peyote and you're out there alone for 24 to 48 hours and you have to come back, right? And leaning on things of that nature, because I feel going into some things like that, the whole psychedelic realm's a little bit different. Things that are man-made, acid and all that, no, I'm good, right? But when it comes to the psilocybin and the mushrooms, could even be the ayahuasca, the peyote, the toad, all that kind of stuff is a little different.
It is different.
It's fascinating. Yeah. I don't know if I could do the ayahuasca just because you're throwing up for like 3 days. It's too much for me.
I don't know if I could do that, man. That's a lot of food we'd have to eat to replenish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm kind of good on that.
I'm right there with you, man. Isn't correct me if I'm wrong, isn't DMT where you follow the frog? Is that what it is? Or
I think the frog is something different. DMT is actually like what your body produces when you die.
No, right, correct. Yeah.
So doing the toad, the venom from the toad is different.
I swear I thought it was maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's different. I'm pretty sure.
There might be multiple.
Yeah.
That same individual did DMT as well, and they told me it was like a 15-minute trip. And
it felt like hours though.
3-4 hours. They said it felt like with trying to find the frog.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know.
Well, everybody's interaction is different.
Correct. That's the thing.
Right?
I think it's a person by person experience.
Yeah.
But it's just so interesting. And Joe Rogan talks about DMT in a couple of his podcasts. I don't think I could do it. There's no way. I told myself 5-6 years ago, I would do it.
What scares me about that kind of stuff is because I like to be in control.
Correct. Yes.
And like just of like motor function.
Yes.
Right. Taking the mushrooms and stuff, like you could still stay grounded and you still know where you are and you still know what you're doing. Something like that though, where you're taking the ayahuasca or the DMT and it's you just surrendering all control to a foreign substance. Scares me.
It does. I don't know if I could do that. That control aspect is something that I don't think I'm with you. I'm gonna pass.
Because when it comes to stuff like that, it doesn't even matter. You could go in with the purest intentions, but if you have a bad trip, sometimes people don't come back from that. That's what terrifies me.
Especially with acid, I feel like
Fuck
too.
acid, bro. I'm good on that.
I've never tried it. I'll never try it.
I'm good on acid.
I'll pass, man.
You know?
But no, there was a lot we covered today.
There was a lot that we covered, you know, and the biggest thing is, you know, the journey from the jail cell to sobriety.
Sobriety. That's huge.
Sobriety is huge.
That's huge, bro. Huge for you, bro, because I know you're at a point now where it's not, you don't need it.
If you would have told me 10 years ago that like sitting here right now, we'd be doing a podcast in 2024 and I'd be almost 5 years sober, I would have laughed at you.
Right? I mean,
right?
Honestly, but I'm not laughing.
I used to make weed brownies at the house.
Say again?
I said I used to make weed brownies at the house.
Really?
My dad ate a couple one time not knowing what it was.
Oh, Randy.
Shout out to Randy.
Damn. Probably. Wow. Randy,
Shout out Pops.
I got to ask you that story next time I see you.
That's a really funny story. We could tell it. My dad wants me to tell it. We'll tell it on the next episode, man.
That is, wow.
Some weed brownies, pop brownies, homemade.
Wow. Smelling like crazy in the house.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, dude. Oh, my God. The weed
I'll
brownies
tell that,
in the
I'll
house,
tell that
man.
story next time.
Yeah, next time for sure, man.
It.
Nah, dude. No, I think the biggest thing, right, the biggest takeaway here before we wrap up shop here today is, you know, really reflect on your life and the choices that you're making, right? Think about it. Think about where you want to go, and think about, is the weed, is the alcohol, is it taking you away from where you need to be? Mm-hmm. We can tell you, like, it doesn't, like Jeffrey and I can say, hey, this is our story. This is what we've done. This is why we made these choices. But we also had to recognize that.
Yeah.
We can't have you recognize that. We can share some light on that and perspective. But at the end of the day, it's all on you.
It's all on you.
You have to recognize, hey, is this leading me towards my goals, or is it not leading me towards my goals? Am I on the right path, or do I need to make a quick left to get right on the right path?
One of the things that really took me so long to understand in life is you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. It's so hard, man. Because as empathic people as we are, we always want to help people. We always want to save people. Mm-hmm. But you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. At the end of the day, you have to make that choice for yourself. You have to put the bottle down. You have to start going back to the gym. You have to wake up early. You have to start eating clean. Mm-hmm. You have to exercise. You have to start reading. I can't force you to do it.
Right. It's really funny. I heard this quote from one of my guys over that I met with Toastmasters, but I met him before. He said that when the student's ready, the teacher appears. When the student's ready to learn, the teacher appears. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just so powerful that when you're ready to make those choices, someone will come into your life to help guide you and mentor you, right? It's just crazy to think about. It's just crazy to think about, man. So
when the students are ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I feel since we made the rebrand and we started diving a little bit deeper, it's just been gaining so much more momentum.
Mm-hmm. It has. Well, I completely agree, and I'm just excited, man. I mean, there's just a lot of exciting things to happen, and when you're on this journey and you have this purpose and you have this drive, it's just everything just attracts. And I'm, like you said, I'm excited. I'm really glad that we did the rebrand.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we all talked about it. It was something that needed to be done.
Yeah.
Especially with where we wanted to go, right? Which coincides with what we talked about with the drugs and the alcohol today, right? We knew that, okay, we're in the right car, it's not the right path.
Yeah.
And we had to make that pivot too.
Let's just pull over real quick and look at the map and just make sure we're going the right way.
That's what we did. And we did. Boom. It had to turn around.
Actually, we had to just take a little left here. That's it.
And we're good.
The thing is, we could always still throw in an episode here where we talk about football and we just kind of we do that, right? Because that's still a big part of our lives, as hard as it has been to watch the Bears, right?
We did okay.
We could still talk about that, Yeah. It's just being able to really have the listeners tune in for the 25, 30 minutes, 60 minutes that they're listening to us and joining us on this journey. I want them to walk away feeling like they gained something
100%.
from the episode. Even if it's one small nugget that resonates with them, I just want them to feel they're getting something.
I don't want you to waste your time on this podcast.
Yeah.
We want to provide value every single time.
Yeah, of course there's going to be some shits and giggles. There's going to be some laughs.
Always.
Right?
That's life. We can't take it too seriously.
Also, my dad did listen to the Girardelli story, which was absolutely fucking disgusting at the end of last episode. He sent it over to Darren Diviak, who listened to it. laughed out loud, thought it was hilarious talking about the story, and now he's tuned into the episode.
Let's go.
And now he's tuning into the show.
Let's go.
And so,
it's crazy how that works, man.
Yeah.
Tell a funny
that story was for my dad and for Darren. So
yeah, shout out
they got
Darren.
a kick out of it. Shout out to Darren Diviak.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. This is amazing, though. But now I'm excited, man. I'm glad that we touched on this. More to come.
Yeah, we can always dive so much deeper.
Always is, man. And
we can always dive so much deeper.
Well,
man.
soon enough, we planted this nugget a couple episodes ago. But on the horizons, though, we will be doing a very long-winded episode here. Coming up soon. A couple hours.
100%.
We're hoping.
We need to.
Yeah.
Shoot us a message on Instagram. Do you guys want us to dive deeper into our personal stories?
More to happen.
There's still so much more to uncover. I've really only touched the surface, and I know you have too, man. We could go down some dark stories.
Yo, man.
Some dark paths, some dark chapters, some dark years.
Yeah. Get your sketchbooks ready, your notebooks ready.
If you want it.
Right?
I'm serious. We can
honestly,
paint that picture.
No, we could. I'm always down, man.
If you guys want that, let us know.
100%.
We'll do it.
Let us know on TikTok. Let us know on Instagram.
Yeah.
Wherever it is.
Shout out Twitch.
Yeah. Shout out Twitch. Let us know. Please let us know. But we're.
Yeah. Thank you so much. As Coleton said at the very beginning, we don't take the support lightly at all. We don't take it for granted. We really appreciate you guys, the amazing messages that we get on Instagram, people that reach out and text us like, hey, really enjoyed this on this episode, really enjoyed that, this one really hit me home here. That means the world to us. We talked about it early on, episode 1 of Boys for Life. We really just want to be able to make an impact with even just one person. That's the reason that we're sitting here delivering these episodes to you guys week in and week out. We just want to leave a positive impact to the people listening. That's really it. So, thank you guys so much for tuning back in, taking another step with us on this journey and on your journey, right? As you guys know, new episodes every single Tuesday. Thank you so much for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing.
Let's go.
And streaming on Twitch. As always, we love you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. That's good. It's a good one, bro. Almost about an hour.